Hello everyone, this is Zimnala heading into the dungeon for another round of dungeon crawling. Coming a little earlier this day, and I figured, why not, right? When you got the itch to crawl, you gotta get going. So, a little overview on where we're at. Our Warlock is looking at, our Warlocks are all assembled. Our Elf, our Ceres, and our Dwarf, all Warlocks for now, as well as our Oni, who is an explorer. We're settling through there. Now, I believe our Dwarf, at least, is going to finish being a Warlock this stream. So this will hopefully be the only time that they're all assembled. Unless we do it for jokes later or something. But yeah, that's the plan this time. And I do want to apologize for a bit of a mix-up with my OBS last night. Apparently, the main view screen got hijacked by a pop-up window that controls... That basically it shares ID with the character creation pop-up, which I used to show my characters being created several streams ago. And I guess it stayed active, and the map took over it when I looked at it to see if I had mapped an area. So, not really much I can do it after the fact, as it's already recorded, but I have disabled that for now. So, if I pop up my map, it won't show up for others, but also, it's not really a big deal. I don't believe. As it doesn't really update for anyone else. Like, it's kind of a weird little map pop out, because it doesn't seem to refresh like the other ones do. Yeah, this game is a little archaic in some of its design choices, including random pop-outs that aren't easily captured, is probably not a choice that games would use at any time going forward, but this was made long before any of the streaming sites even existed, I believe. So, they couldn't really have anticipated that, I suppose.
Cool.
Yes, I will endeavor to check my stream regularly more often just to see, like, if that has happened. But I will admit it caught me off guard last night. I'd gotten a little used to just letting it do its thing for the most part because it hadn't been a problem. I guess that's the way life is. Things aren't problems till they are. Yeah, I've been starting to consider what else I might want to add in for like streaming, both for here and other streaming locations. Like maybe I'll start uploading videos for... I was thinking about doing a playthrough of Dead Space, for instance. Now that's not a game that I'm unfamiliar with. I've actually fully completed all of the achievements for it and played through it multiple times, but I just kind of enjoy playing it each year, so I might just do a fresh playthrough of that. See how that goes. But it's not gonna have like any specific like requirements or like challenges. Well, it's gonna be like a pure like for fun playthrough because I enjoy it for flavor, you know. I just enjoy the atmosphere, the lore, and I really appreciate the effort that they took into remaking that wonderful game. It is the favorite of that series by far for me. So I'm not too upset that they don't seem to be interested in remaking the other ones currently. Although I wouldn't hate too much if they at least reported the Dead Space 2 because it no longer runs on Steam for me. They have let it fall that far out of compliance. And I've tried to like sort out the stuff with the Dead Space 2 on Steam, but the main thing that I can tell is that it is a big problem with anyone that has a multi-core PC. So most gaming PCs have multiple cores now, so it's gonna cause some major incompatibility issues with that. And that's actually not a flaw that's active in Dead Space 1 or Dead Space 3, like it's specifically a Dead Space 2 issue. Yeah, even the original Dead Space 1 still works better. Now, I still don't like Dead Space 2 as much as Dead Space 1. I think it loses a lot of the atmosphere that the first one had. It doesn't feel as much like an oppressive... It's just you and the whole ship after you, but because of all the jibber-jabbering going on, but I still appreciate the flavor of it. I like the way the combat got a little snappier. Wouldn't lie, that was a good improvement that the Dead Space remake made, is it kind of made the movement a lot snappier, so I appreciate it. I could see Dead Space 2 being a lot harder to work around for making a remake because you'd have to, one, get more characters involved because there's just more talking in the whole thing in general, so you'd get a lot more vocal parts to sort out because there's like a banter in multiple different chapters that just keeps going and going, which is fun, don't get me wrong, but I imagine it does make it a bigger production adventure. So I would be happy if it was just a port that just happens to run again. That would make me pretty happy. Oh wow, Oni pinned first, even though they're in second place. Okay, we're going in the back. That's fine. We're gonna go until at least 2 of you append. Fair enough. Can't complain about it happening quicker than I expected. That's a quality problem. But yeah, we'll get a little bit more daring with our dungeon crawling once we actually get like the stats for people mostly maxed out, because that's the biggest reason I don't dive deeper, is just undead will ruin your whole day if you keep on getting drained. Like, it'll slow your progression down, your characters will just get weaker. If you get unlucky, they'll start stealing your hit points permanently, which is a real bummer. Although there is a part of this expansion that I believe I've heard that I have not gotten to, is that in the end game there's a way to keep getting more maximum hit points through a quest system or something. That will basically mitigate getting drained, so even if you had that problem in the long term, you could resolve it that way as well. But I haven't gotten there yet. Like, I gotten down to dungeon floor 20 with another group, I believe, but it starts getting pretty rough down there, so. And believe it or not, this group will not be that far behind for an incredible amount of time, like probably another like 10 streams or so, and we'll be knocking at those doors. Well, that might be a little ambitious. Maybe it'll be closer to maybe 20 streams. Like, we'll see. Like, I'm not gonna rush it. It'll be when it is. This is a long-term project for me. I'm going to play through this. It's just the way the game is. If you like it, you like it, and you'll keep coming back to it. That's as far as I can take that. This is like one of those games that you just pick up and play whenever you want something to relax you and just, like, cruise for a while. Because if you like focus on the grind, it can be a little bearing, but honestly, it's kind of meditative if you actually get into it. Like, some places require you to pay more attention, but for the most part, it's relatively chill, which I enjoy. Good stuff there. Yeah, as before, I'm gonna pop these over to our Oni because they are the ones that need to cast movement spells, and they're the ones that are lowest in the intelligence requirements and the wisdom requirements. So once I get everyone to like that 18, 19 level, I can start like maxing them out. But my current first goal is to make sure that everyone can actually cast their spells, because what's the point of having spells you can't cast, you know? And that sorts out 3 of their inventories. Don't really need that, but it's okay. More agility is not bad. I can go right over to the Oni as well. Slap stuff into there. Give the bounties a quick peek, see if anything's popping out to me. Do not need that because we're not going to capture stuff like that. Yeah, we cruised right through that one pretty quick. You'll love to see it. And we are sorted to go on another adventure. Raise our agility up. Raise our wisdom. Are we good enough to cast levitation on people? So this had been something that the dwarf is doing, but it's cheap enough that the Oni can start doing it. So we're gonna start sharing that up. Our Oni can also start mapping for us when we go down, because he can actually cast that now. So it's kind of expensive, but he's not really using his MP for anything else, so we'll keep that in mind if we come across somewhere. See what other things he can do. Charm of Concealment is not a bad way to increase your defense as well, but it's a little expensive for him still. Huh. I don't remember them having that spell, but okay. Interesting. Looks like they're gonna get attack spells eventually. Because I've got levitation on the Oni, let's see what else we can cast. It doesn't free up a lot, but maybe as something else we can grab. So if that was too expensive for him to cast, see, it's still pretty expensive for this character as well. That's 53. So actually it's a lot cheaper on Explorer than it is on Warlock. So that's the main advantage to joining other guilds, is some of them get him for much cheaper. So something to keep in mind. These are spells for attack that I don't really tend to use much. They're just more expensive. Okay, then let's look at resistances, see if something's not... Yeah, see, the Warlock ones start so expensive, they're kind of not worth casting until you get much higher Warlock. But they're an access to casting these elemental ones. Interesting. How's Magical Flight looking? 80 is very expensive, but that is what's going to eventually replace Levitation. But I imagine it's actually our Oni that's going to use that, because I expect to get them to much higher levels of Explorer than any other classes Magic uses for a long time. Leveling up Magic guilds past like 50 or 60 is kind of an endgame adventure for most players. It's a nice to have rather than a thing you really focus on. I do believe that their sight spells are much cheaper, so I'm gonna take a quick peek into there. So maybe becoming invisible is a little bit more affordable for this class. That's the Magi's main thing, is that they are the cheapest for sight spells. So it takes a hit on our magic stuff, and we'll probably pop back eventually to raise that up. Now that we've sorted out our magic spell situation for now, back we go.
Cool. Cool.
Now there isn't actually much in like the physical and visible things, but if you actually have a group of spellcasters and you're out of range and they happen to be around a corner, the game keeps track of that and won't actually hit you with it, which is a good thing to keep in mind if you have like half them already attacking you. If you have a corner you can stand around, they have to come around to actually cast it on you. So that's the extent of the game's 3D abilities. The 3D was really kind of a tacked on part of this. The game was actually based almost entirely on a other beta version of this called Mordor 2, which was never completed. Which was not really a 3D game at all. It was just like a 2D game that had a slight visual component that was even more basic than this. Like, you saw the dungeon, but, like, it didn't keep track of where monsters were. Like, it just kept track of if they were in the room with you. But now but in this version that they actually made it so that their distance to you matters, like, and the obstacles between you and them matter for whether they can hit you. So, well, it doesn't seem like a lot. It actually does change up the gameplay a bit. It was an interesting change to get used to, because I got used to the original style of you're in the room, you can hit them. And that makes a big difference when monsters continue to stone or cast really punishing spells and spit on you for lots of damage. So, gasp! It does seem like a cow has entered my chat room. Hello, cow. What kind of fun adventures are you up to today?
Cool. Cool.
I mean, fair enough. But if you like killing cows, you should consider RuneScape. I remember that to be a big part of the early game.
Cool.
I guess I am excited to get through these early Warlock levels and get to the spicier stuff, like maybe dipping back into Adventurer. Once you start getting your fighting ability up, fighting deeper is a lot easier. But while it's an investment, this early strategy basically jumps your HP up another like 80 or 90, which would be like almost a 30% increase, so yeah, see, even just one round of combat of spitting on that character has them down so much, and it's not a real problem. I can absolutely heal them, so, but you do have to keep in mind that you can only survive what you can survive, so raising that maximum will let you survive those encounters more easily to heal up. Because eventually we're going to dip into Cleric when everyone will be able to heal to some degree, either through items or that. So the more important thing is just to have enough hit points to survive the hits before you need to heal up. Take the lumps, you heal up afterwards. Floors tend to have like one or two monsters that are much tougher than others, so, or monster groups that are harder. Like on this floor, it's the dwarves in the right corner, but they're actually a monster group from like 3 floors deeper than this. They're just happen to be layered on this one to be a tougher challenge. The actual strongest normal monster on this floor is the groups of crabs we just fought. Like those crabs, they cast magic, and they have higher attack and defense. These crabs right here, they don't look entirely like crabs. They're kind of weird spider things, but I'll give Declan this. That's a funny looking sprite for them. But we do enough damage to kind of slam through them before they can actually hit us very hard. Oh dear. Our OBS has temporarily disconnected. That's okay. It'll reconnect. Sorry for that, guys. It looks like my connection reset, so if there's a minor interruption, I apologize. Fortunately, where I live just has minor internet disruptions regularly. There's not too much I can actually do about it. I do fully record my VODs, so anyone that is actually super interested could watch them on my YouTube channel. I do just tend to upload them for a long-term storage solution, so that is an option if you feel like you've missed anything. And yeah, my general goal is to wait until I hit a couple characters pinned, and then switch back to town. Just keep on wandering back. You do that enough times and you'll be through any challenge of leveling characters up. Now you know you're leveling in a good spot when you can basically level as much as you want to without actually running out of resources. If you're getting absolutely hammered and you run out of like health and stuff, that's a sign that you're definitely challenging yourself, or maybe even just way too deep. It's definitely too deep for comfortable leveling. But there's nothing wrong with testing yourself. That's the only way you're gonna know early on if you can handle an area, is if you just go in and see like how they hit you. Now for the most part I don't need to do that because I've leveled many groups through this part of the game. I start losing a little bit of a handle of it once I get below like dungeon level 14. Just because like that part I tend to roll through so fast that I just don't ever keep track of how strong the monsters are for the most part, but I'm sure with a group like this it'll be fine. It's much more of a problem when you're running solo characters. If you're not strong enough, you're just dead. At least a group like this has options. They might lose a member, but they can back off and heal them in town, for instance. Yeah, those guys are too far away to actually be worth. Yeah, sorry about that. Like as I mentioned, like my internet just seems to like to reset itself regularly, and there's not too much I can do about it. Usually it only lasts for like 5 to 10 seconds. It's a geographic problem and not really something I can change too much without an exorbitantly expensive like internet plan, so while I don't mind streaming, it's not lucrative enough to spend an extra $100 a month for, so kinda gonna sort through that. But if anyone wants to check out my videos, I do upload them to my YouTube channel. It's a very similar named channel as well. So that should make it pretty easy. But yeah, if you do want to check out the channel I have on YouTube, it's surprisingly the exact same name channel. It's shocking, right? Still just Simnala. Now, I don't currently have plans to put stuff there that isn't here, but it is possible that I might play something that is so short that I don't want to stream it, so I might just record them instead. So we've reached a new level of quest from Explorer that I haven't read out to you guys, so I will read out this one. You have been assigned the required level 17 quest for this guild. Tarnon approaches you. Ha! And well met, apprentice. It looks like you are gaining experience that will help you explore the depths below. We are happy with your progress. He adjusts his armor and scratches his beard. I want you to find me a glowing rock. In return, I will give you some dust of locating. He smiles. Simple enough. Then turns and walks away. You must return with one glowing rock. So this is probably the main thing that's different about the Explorers Guild. I believe almost all of its quests are getting items and returning them versus killing monsters. This is either a easy peasy for you if you've been like filling out your store and like saving stuff to the side, but if you've been like just leveling up in places where you won't find new items, you might actually have some trouble finding these, or if you've used all your stuff, because yeah, you do have to find that item before you can progress, and you can't get around that at all. But fortunately, most of the items that it wants are not really that difficult to acquire. Like this right here, this is a glowing rock. This is what he wants. That's just going to go sit in his inventory until the next level up. So I don't even have to go find and buy it, but we can let off our warriors that wanted to join us. We're kind of at the point where we don't really currently need companions to fight with us, so
Cool.
we're not going to really worry about that too much. Now, required quest for everyone that can join the Warriors Guild is actually one of these black chainmails, so any character leveling up Warrior is going to want one in their storage for that quest. That's one that can actually hit you out of nowhere if you have not gone through the game before. Because it's a cursed item, and you cannot use cursed items and store them inside of the store. You had to save them in your bank. Which is the whole reason why I've got a character that's just saved a copy of every one of my cursed items that I find. Just in case you need it for something like that. It's just a general precaution I recommend. Because it's not just for that. The bounty board also just randomly gets quests for cursed items quite a lot. It definitely overvalues cursed items in that board. But yeah, we only need 3 more levels for our dwarf to be done with Warlock, so that's good progress there. So yeah, we can get this little point of charisma in there. Get up our buffs. I've been thinking about what I want to do with my dwarf after I get to 38, and I think the first thing I'll do is actually get some of that cleric I mentioned, get it to that first couple of level marks. So It'll be almost like we're leveling up a warlock, but it'll actually be far more useful for us. Because it's the cheapest healing in the game. And we're going to need healing where we're going. And while we have all these rocks, they're not going to last forever if once we start getting hit by strong acid.
Cool.
So we are probably actually going to come back this way and dip down to see the Goblin King soon, but Goblin Lord, but we are gonna go finish off the dwarves first. They're just a better source of experience for everyone. That one, I believe, is on floor 25. That one is nearly at the bottom of the whole shebang. It's a giant lair of dragons and demons. It also has a type of square that is not seen elsewhere, which is the lava square. And as long as you're floating over it, you have a chance of falling into it, taking a little bit of damage, and having a chance of losing an item. So the less time you spend floating over it, the better for you. So, a thing to keep in mind if you go exploring there. Try not to hover over lava for any period of time. You'll regret that, probably. The game's really indiscriminate with losing items too. It doesn't care how rare it is. This is definitely not a game that holds your hands at all with that sort of thing. Which I respect. I wish that more games just like threw you to the wolves and said, make something of this if you can, mortal. You really have to fight for all of your progress, so as before, I'm gonna pause it and queue up some spells because that's the only way we currently have to fight this guy. He is immune to normal attacks because we don't have a strong enough weapon to hurt him. So we switch through our characters, we choose targets for them, and then when we have everyone queued up, then we unleash hell on him. Then you unpause it. And none of them do a lot of damage with their spells. I actually picked really low level spells for it, but the thing is that spells will always hit. So it is a way to deal damage to monsters that are immune to normal weapons otherwise. Although some weapons enemies are actually completely immune to magic as well, and it depends on their resistances. So keep that in mind, that won't work for every enemy in the game. You can't just cheese them that way. Yeah, so these enemies are actually even stronger than floor 8 enemies. They're actually considered floor 9 enemies, these guards. That Dwarven Lord we killed is actually probably a couple of floors below that as well. I'd say it's a 10 or 11 floor mob. That's why he's immune to so much stuff. It's just that you need to have like Mythonite or Adamantium. Like there's different levels of weapon resistance in this game. And not every enemies actually has weapon resistance, it's only specific enemies. So that's why we can still hit most enemies in most areas. It's like the first enemy that you come across with weapon resistance is the were-rats and the dungeon pirates on this floor. If you have the initial weapons, you actually just usually get killed by them as a new explorer. Unless you've got something steel or higher. They're a wake-up call to players to start being a little bit more observant of what weapons say in their flavor text, because they'll tell you when they can't be effective. Poor dwarves, they joined us and now they are almost dead. That's our giant already pinned, but we are going to wait till someone else is ready as well. Yeah, clearing out these dwarven mines is the best experience by far in these top floors, because they're actually mobs from so much deeper. And there's actually this little offshoot here that actually leads to a new area that's actually incredibly difficult. I do not recommend going there without a fully kitted out movement set, so we're not actually ready to go that way. But we dip down here for the dwarves, you know? My stronger characters were able to map out a decent amount of the surface of those areas, but even being able to cruise on floor 19 to 20 without much trouble was not enough to make them fully comfortable exploring those areas in some parts. So those areas are definitely a nearly post-game area, and I don't recommend getting too caught up with trying to fully explore them early on, because you will just die a lot. There's no getting around it. They're meant to be like a lore heavy Declan fever dream. So after all this, it still wasn't enough for everyone in my party to level up, but it was pretty close. So we'll come cruise to this corner and start clear this out and see where we end up. We could head back to town and just sort out what we got, but I mean, we're close enough to pinning with 2 other characters that we may just finish them off and get like a 3-pin set, and that'll just get us a lot closer. And that's kind of the way this game goes, is you kind of plan out a good run like this. You get the levels you can get with your party members, you move them around and try to get their experience to even out a bit. And then you go back to town, clear out your inventory, sort out what good stuff you got, and then head back in. It's kind of like a 10 to 15 minute adventure out into the dungeon, and then like a 3 or 4 minute clear session, just to equal out, figure out what you want to do next. So for someone that doesn't like to manage stuff, I could see that not being their thing, but I don't mind it in my games. Maybe I'll even put the dwarf up front so it doesn't take as many hits for my poor elf. Now, you can't really help it. Elves are always going to be squishy. Their fighting ability lags behind every other class, so if you put them up front, expect them to get beat up a little bit like mine is. That's why I gave them some paladin. It does help, but they just can't really compete, so not much you can do about it. That's our second pin. do want to get the dwarf to at least be able to level before I go back to town, so that was my actual goal. I might not go for a third pin, but I do want to get that little bit. So we'll dip down into the corner of 6.
Cool.
Oh, they tried to steal an item. They tried to take my potion of leadership, you assholes, but I got it back. See, that's what having a thief is for, is you can keep them from stealing your items if you are a good enough thief. It's not just about opening treasure chests, but that is a big part of thief, but also just being able to keep your items from being stolen as well. But that is part of why I do tell people, if you want to keep items, store them in your bank. And that's part of why everyone's holding healing items, so if I do lose one to a thief, I still have plenty backed up. So we're gonna make our way back up. And while I could fight the other way to get to the surface, I kind of want to save the experience for another run, so we're kind of just gonna make our way back the way we came. Decide which way's fastest. Yeah, this way might be faster. Oh, it's rotators doing their job, so that's the other reason to maybe stick get everyone a little bit into Explorer, is just so that whoever you have up front might have a better chance of figuring out which direction you're facing after those, but Explorer is what makes it so that you're less likely to actually be lost after spinning on those, so you'll have to guess a little less on which direction you're facing. There we go, we made it back. Another round of Warlock for the dwarf. That's only 2 more levels left for them to gain. 2 more for my Ceres. There we go. Tannen greets you with a smile. Excellent. Here's your dust of locating. Use it to find the poor bastards who have gotten themselves lost and then died. Great way to meet chicks. Well, for me anyway. What a saucy guy. It's really not a useful item, even though he says to use it that way. You can technically do it, but it's much easier just to ask people where the character is. It has a little bit more utility in multiplayer, though. So that's interesting to note. You know what? I'll give us a point of this. 2 points, I guess. I guess the game really wants my guys to get a little bit more charisma, huh? Sure. Yeah, and again, the biggest thing that charisma gives us is it makes it less likely for enemies to start hostile. 3 points? Why not? It's kind of gratuitous at this point. But other than that, it's just a major requirement for spells for the Magi class for basically capturing and enslaving monsters. So if you want to cast those, you got to get a pretty high charisma. And your charisma also affects how likely monsters are to try to escape from you if you have enslaved them magically. Like, they have a chance of every second of loosening their bonds. Although there's a spell called Soul Domination, or is it Life Domination, that basically makes it so they can't do that no matter what they want, so once you get cast that on a monster, they just go till they're dead. You eventually just don't have to worry about that aspect, and it largely was not a fleshed out enough concept in the game. So, while there is a lot of nuance in how the skill works, it's not really something you have to worry about, because it's not really implemented in a way you can really test it easily. Believe it or not, our Ceres is actually leveling up their Warlock quite quickly as well, so in a session or two, they're going to be all set with it as well. We're going to be done with Explorer for a little bit on our Giant as well. I'm thinking about just rounding out their skills and joining Barbarian, which will open them up for backstab ability and a little bit of thieving, which will reduce like how easily they can be stolen from. They're never going to compare with our thief with that, but it does help. It'll also, I believe there was a change in this version of the game where barbarians actually have a higher multiple strikes chance than a warrior, so there's certain thresholds where you gain an extra attack per combat. And there's only a few guilds that gain access to it. Warrior and Barbarian are some of them, so this would mean that at earlier levels, the Barbarian would get those thresholds first. Now, the Warrior threshold was 56 in the versions I played, so I wonder where Barbarian is if it's even better than that, so it might be like 50 or so, but I'm actually still probably going to get it from Warrior, because while 5 levels is 5 levels, Warrior has more overall benefits for me than Barbarian. Like, that fighting ability is what lets you take and deal more damage overall. And that's what you want from a tank. But yeah, once we get Explorer up to that point, we can actually spend like 30 MP on our spell points on our Giant and just walk through any walls we want to. So once we can start doing that with impunity, like getting around to do more fancy dungeon runs is totally possible. And I don't know if this is a bit of a spoiler, but there's items that actually cause you to regenerate your spell points and stuff too, as not just your hit points. And when you get those, you start getting access to the ability to regularly just traverse the dungeon very quickly by walking through any walls you want to, teleporting around, going up and down floors by just teleporting straight up and down through them. Now, I don't actually have that spell unlocked, but you do find a spell book for it if you go deep enough and get lucky. And one of the big parts of this game's story is that all of these spells and abilities of the guilds were largely stolen and lost when they had to abandon this main facility, which is why you find spells and lost items for the guilds. Is because this is where the guilds lived. They lost their knowledge when they had to abandon it.
Cool. 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 Cool.
Yeah, because the way the dungeon repopulates itself, you do have to find a couple of alternate routes unless your runs are so long enough that it repopulates during the process of it. But that's when you start having hour-long runs, so I wouldn't count on that. The dungeon repopulates about every 40 minutes to an hour, so you if your runs are only 15 minutes long, you got to basically plan out 3 or 4 different routes that you run to get experience. So if you have really lucrative spots like the mines, that's only gonna be a third of your runs. So you got to find other ways to use your time. So you'll have like a really fast level, and then you'll have a couple of a little slower levels sometimes. And that's okay.
Cool.
It'll let you work some variety into what you're doing.
Cool. Cool. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Those giant badgers stood no chance.
Cool.
Yeah, Onigiri is already getting close to pinned. Okay. So we'll shift things around a little bit. Okay. And if anyone's wondering why I almost always have my giant and my elf up front, it's because they are the ones that have the lowest total experience of everyone, because they were the last characters created. So they're still actually playing a little bit of catch up. So this is just a way of slowly equalizing them out as we run through. Although everyone is leveling up still. But I find it's much better to not have everyone be widely different strengths. Because if you do that, when you go to a new floor that's actually too strong for a particular character, they will just die. So it's a good idea to kind of get them to a baseline. Because your party's only as strong as the weakest member, in my opinion. If they can't survive the hits, then you're just going to be wasting all your resources to keep them alive, which is fine if you have those resources to expend that way, but it can get pretty expensive pretty fast. So I definitely say if you're going to do that, know what you're getting in for. Have it be the plan, not have it be a surprise.
Cool.
There's certainly been some times where I power leveled a few characters, but yes, you do want to have that be the plan if you're going to do it. And that gets 2 of my characters pinned. Fantastic. More agility is going to be good. We got all these healing dusts. These are actually stronger than the crystals, so they're a little less spammy, but they're a little less common too, so I guess that makes sense. More insight is good. That's going to go to the dwarf, to the giant. There we go. Can recover our stuff. And I believe there's actually some gear we can wear that we couldn't before. So we can actually wear this gloves, I believe. We can upgrade our belts. Oh no, did we lose one of our rings? Oh no, we must have actually lost an item somewhere. Well, that's not good. Well, I guess I better to notice it now than never. Huh, did I sell it? Let's investigate. Or did I just lose it? It might have been a slime. Slimes can destroy items, which is very unfortunate. If so, it just means I just didn't notice it happening. Yeah, I guess so. Okie dokie. Okay, well, that's fair. We could just take a look to see what we can change up here. Do that. We can do this now. So we meant to do it before, but we can actually wear the better boots now. Okay. We can also upgrade to these steel bracers. We might actually have this one. Yep, we have it in our inventory already. Cool. There we go. A couple of better equipment pieces for everyone. Yeah, we're never gonna trade in this just for gold. Don't need that. Cool. Little more wisdom for that. Another round of agility. I mean dexterity. You mean my characters? Or the monsters? Who's out for it? Who's out for what? Well, I mean, they say they're working together. They could be lying. We're just gonna have to take them at their word, aren't we? They're not out to slit our throats and take all their items. But
Cool.
just imagine if adventurers like us didn't come down here to kill all these ants. They'd just be everywhere.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Okay, we need a little bit of experience, so we're gonna actually dip down to level 5 this back way and work our way that way.
Bye-bye.
And this is where we start getting the use out of our giant being explorers. We can actually start mapping these little corners that have unexplored regions.
Cool.
And basically what we're doing is we're kind of mapping out the parts of the walls that are actually solid and not just rooms we don't know how to get into. That's what those white squares indicate, is that they are rock. See, like, we just found, like, rooms we don't know how to get into on the back side of there. So, yeah, this looks like it could be a way out. It's probably a one-way exit, if that makes sense. Because this looks like a hallway that would lead out, not in. So, maybe there's something to that in a special areas, like maybe through something over on this side, but we can't actually teleport into those areas. They're protected because they are part of the expanded content for the game that Declan put in. So if you were to try to teleport into it, it would just say, you can't go into this, the guild has protected it, or something like that. So maybe there's a quest we do to unlock that ability, or maybe you just have to go into it a different way. Like I said, a lot of that's post-game content, or at least towards the bottom of the dungeon content. So. It's part of the content I wished to do a full playthrough of this to determine, because I was really interested to see what he had added. Looks like several of our characters are getting ready for that level up. Of no surprise at all, our giant is almost pinned. He just has the lowest requirements of everyone as an explorer, so it was gonna happen. And now that we got an explorer, we can actually start mapping these special squares the way they're supposed to be. Ooh, that's a spicy hit on that. That's okay, we got healing. We'll come visit the Dwarf Lord. We'll let her meet our... There we go. He didn't have anything fancy for us, but, you know, we had something fancy for him. It was called our blades.
Cool.
These guys I do not want to fight. I think it's the exact example of a monster group you do not want to fight. Look at these things. You don't want to fight 21 slimes. Absolutely not. What a bunch of boogers indeed. Declan is wrong for making that many slimes in a room. I bet they spit acid on you, they probably paralyze you, they might be able to steal you, break your items. Yeah, this is the part of the dungeon that is supposedly breaking down and being dissolved into decay. That's why there's mushrooms growing all over the place. It's supposed to be similar to the upper floors, but being destroyed. Yeah, looks like our dwarf's gonna get another level as well from this. So they are actually right on the cusp of being done with Warlock for now. And that meets back up with this quarter, so we can go back the way we came, and... Sure, we'll dip down to here. We're not gonna fight these guys, though. A real positive is that if you're not trigger happy, most slimes actually are not aggressive because they're almost all neutral by default. It's like, you see this? This is 4 boogers. We could probably fight this. But we're not gonna fight 21 boogers. Absolutely not. Not until we have like 7 swings for every character, and everyone can kill 1 with each hit. You do get there. There are weapons that have that many swings in the game. Oh, you stole a scroll from me? However will I live? Those useless scrolls. Yeah, these guys start casting electric spells on you, which can be kind of painful.
Cool.
Now, a thing to keep in mind is you want to have someone with good resistances up front for the most part, because they're the ones that are going to be hit by almost every spell. So if you only have enough to cast a few resistance spells, just put them on the front character. It's not a surefire thing, but it is likely to be the way that it works. The character up front has about a 60 to 70% chance of taking the first hit. The first, like, most hits, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. There we go. That anti-magic area is all mapped now. Cut purses. I don't really want to fight these guys because our thieving isn't sufficient to actually keep them from stealing from us. We're actually going down to 8 for the first time on this character set. So we're gonna peek down here and see what we can do with it. These guys actually, I think they start being able to do electrical, like physical attacks to you. These are the slime groups you want to start being worried about. Oh, Barf Pile. Nice. Nice name, right? These groups will start paralyzing you and stealing, like, just destroying your shit. Just don't fight slimes down here unless you have to or you know what you're doing. Obviously, if they attack you, you gotta do it, or get out of there, which might be the better play, but these right here are some of the ones that can drain you for more. By the way, these rates, I probably shouldn't have attacked them, but it worked out. I got trigger happy. I have a lot of pent-up aggression for the undead, so we're close enough to pinning with another character that I'm going to do that, even though some of my characters can't even get experience at this point. It's fine. It won't take very long.
Cool.
Look at this. We've gotten all the way down here. Do you know where we are? We're on floor number 9. We went all the way from floor 3 down to 9. So you can get down here pretty easily and survive, but you gotta know what you're in for. And yeah, monsters aren't necessarily that much harder, but they start having more abilities, and some of them are completely immune to weaponry, and they drain stuff, so. Ooh, that was actually kind of close. So this is a case where I'm gonna actually end up using a Crystal of Mysticism to get back. Because that's just too far to walk at this point. Now, the main thing is not that it's too far. It's actually that I don't want to walk that far and have to fight a bunch of enemies that I could use for leveling on another journey. That's really what it is. I'm not that lazy.
Cool.
They want us to kill an Issus. That's fine. That's on the 3rd floor. Let's go find our all-important quest monster.
Cool.
There we go. Look at that tough challenge. See, we finally learned the ability of amphibious breathing, and I'm sure it's absolutely god-awful expensive for this character to cast. But the fact that we learned it is a good sign. Look at 303 spells to cast. You just literally can't cast it right away. But by the level of the spell, right here, 12, that is actually the lowest cost it will cost. And if you want to find out at what spell level you'll be able to get that cheapest, it is the same as what the cost to start with is. So by level 303, we'll be able to cast that at the lowest cost. So if you want to know how far you have to get to minimize your costs, that's what it is. That's a shorthand way of doing it. But if you want another one, is that it's like a divider. Your spell level is a divider to the cost of a spell. So if we double our level for this guild, our spells will cost half as much. It's linear, so you don't have to worry too much about it. It will sort itself out. But just know that the greatest benefit to leveling up is to reduce the cost of your spells to manageable levels, because you're just not going to be casting that at that cost. You know? It's just not sustainable. There we go, more agility. More dexterity. Yeah. Fair enough. Oh, good. More Nugina gloves. These are actually semi-rare. So, we're gonna actually wear those. They're not like valuable or anything, they're just a little uncommon to actually find. So my store actually just doesn't have enough in them for everyone at this moment. And this is actually the next level of healing item. These are crystal gems of healing. They just cast heal at a much higher level. Like that's spell level 50. This is at 15, so it has about, I'd say about twice as much effectiveness because the the amount that spells do is a little bit complex, and I could look at it and try to break it down if you want, but I only have a few characters that can actually cast those spells. So let's look at heal. So basically heal has a heals for 15-6. So what that means is that it's going to try to heal everyone for 15 and then 6 per spell level, although it's kind of like a little complex. It depends on your wisdom and stuff, but like by level spell level 50, you'll actually be healing close to like 20 to 30 with this rather than 15. So I want to say it has a divider to it. So maybe it's like 30% of what it shows, but this number on the right is the progression that it gains as it levels up. So if it says 3, it'll be half as much progression. So by that token, if we look up this is 3. So yes, this will be about half as much a progression. But here's the difference is that this costs 15 to cast, this costs 60. So currently, I could cast 4 of these for the same cost of this. So as long as it is more cost effective to cast minor heal, it's better to do that. But in the long term, this one will go down to costing 4, and this one will go down to costing 8. So this one will be better once it's less than twice as much, 3 times as much cheaper, because it has 3 times as much effectiveness. So as long as it gets past that threshold, it becomes more worth using versus what you start with. And we haven't really looked to see what's popped up in our tavern for items. That is a potion we don't get many of, but it's also not especially useful at this moment. I think it restores spell points, if I remember, or maybe it casts Fate. It does one of those because there's 2 different types of potion that do that. And believe it or not, a Fate can actually be a pretty good healing because it actually heals your MP randomly. It can either be really good or actually not help at all. So, but if you're out of spell points, because it randomizes it, it has a good chance of giving you more than you had, which is why I count it as a heal. Hey, a giant slug. So giant slugs can't be charmed. You can't capture them with spells. So this is a way of like filling out our list of monsters in confinement. So these guys can spit acid and they resist mind attacks, poison attacks, and magic. These guys are just very big animals, which is weird because they're a slug. You'd think they'd be like a different type. What? The reason why they resist being captured is not because they're actually immune to it, it's because they have so many hit points that charming them is very difficult to do. Because you have to do, like, charm spells do a damage to the enemy that doesn't hurt them. So if it doesn't actually surpass their hit points, they aren't charmed. But I'm sure that actually probably wasn't in there already, so cool beans. And we can actually go back and look to see what else is in here. Don't see anything good with this. Oh, cool. You get a pseudo dragon for that. That's actually not a terrible deal. Pseudo dragon is a required quest for one of the guilds. Actually, it might be an explorer quest now that I think about it. I think you do have to return a pseudo dragon at one point. So if you haven't had any decide to join you, you might have to go wandering around with a scroll and try to capture one, and it could be a pain in the ass. There we go, that's a good distribution. There. Okay. We'll kill the ones that can drop tomes along the way.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Yeah, we're not using these guys to level, we're just like clearing the ones that could give us something useful as an item.
Cool.
Now we're gonna go actually clear our way down to the mines, because we actually should have a full set of dwarves to slaughter in there.
Cool. Cool.
That's a bit unfortunate. Okay, so we are not actually... So it also only affects the one that triggered the trap, at least. So you do have to sometimes recast spells if you trigger an anti-magic trap. Oop. It is a risk you take opening treasure chests, though, is sometimes they'll go off in your hands. So.
Cool.
go. We got him. Thing is, you have to fight him to get past him to this more lucrative area, so that's the reason why I bother with that. It just is worth it, even though it takes a second to set up at this point. Look at this. Our dwarf is already ready. It's getting close to being ready. We got someone that's already ready to level up. Cool beans. Explorer is actually going to be done with this level up too. Like, we're going to switch off to Barbarian. So we might have like a few shorter runs for a little bit. Sort that first little bit out. This is what the difference of being able to add magic into the group is, that we can actually afford to kill the dwarf lord, for instance, when we couldn't have done that before. Yep. There we go. One of our characters is already pinned. I was surprised it's the Explorer, but it's fine. We anticipated it. Where do we want to go? I guess we'll head up to this corner and then head deeper. Oh, there it is.
Cool.
Don't know how I was missing that for so long. Whoopsie doodle. I knew they dropped a treasure chest, wasn't seeing where it was.
Cool.
This matches up to where we had leveled before. Make sure I don't have it. Yep, detect rock is cheap. We can just do this for the single squares we did in the map. So map area is good because it actually will cover a 5x5 area currently, although that map does increase if you get high enough in the guilds that cast it, I believe. I don't remember the thresholds, but I do remember being surprised when the first time it went up, and I was like, oh man, this is so awesome. But we are a long way from that happening, so I wouldn't be expecting that adventure for a hot minute.
Cool.
These single little nibbling unmapped squares we can cover pretty easily. Now back down to 8. We're kicking around here. So another thing to note about level 8 is there's actually another underground lake here. Like the one that was on number 3. This one is is structured a little differently. This one is a wide open lake versus being one with like underground ruins and stuff, but still, it's a lake nonetheless, and I'm probably not going to spend too much time there currently, although there is some interesting options for leveling up, but see, it's in this corner. We'll definitely spend some time down here as we level up. This starts being more our speed for leveling soon. Oh, we got a new type of gremlin. These ones aren't like any fancier than the other ones, considering it's only one group of them. But they're cute. We appreciate variety. These are not worth fighting at all. These are just mosquitoes. They give no experience. They are just annoyances, really. The only thing they have going for them is there's an absolute butt ton of them. Now, anytime you don't see numbers in how many enemies are in a group, you know it's over 14. So there's like 20 monsters in each of those groups. So the reason why they're annoying is because they give no experience and they take like 20 rounds of combat. So they're by far and largely just a complete waste of your time. And that's what we want for monsters, right? Just a waste of our time.
Cool.
I thought so. This is definitely a floor I haven't spent enough time on to fully map out with characters that had magic that could detect rocks, so I will be spending some time and just mapping it out whenever I actually pop into them. Like, this one would require me to go through the wall to do it, because, like, these are just no way to get into those rooms without doing that.
Cool.
We're back to floor 9. Now, I do like to clear out 9 because it actually has a pretty good way to get back to the upper floors. That's kind of, it's not a secret, but you gotta be able to get to it, because once you get up here, it's in the bottom right corner of the map. I'll go there and show you guys. But you see, this place is more ordered again. This is starting to fall under like an organization that maintains this part of the dungeon again, but it's a greater part of like that darker and like slave driven one. There's certain floors that they just keep as being solid.
Cool.
We're very likely to pin, which is very useful. Yeah, 3 of our characters can pin, but we're not going to use a Crystal of Mysticism this time, because this corner right here, watch what happens to us. We're on 9 right now. We're going up these little stairs all the way up here, and this takes us up here to level 4. Now, we actually have to fall down because we don't have a way of flying over, but if we could fly, we could just walk through one of those walls and we're on floor 4. But floor 5's pretty close to base 2, and we've already cleared this out. So we'll just make our way through. We'll be out of the dungeon in no time. Oh good, repopulated. And this is good. We're gonna have a couple of changes in our guilds on this very run, so. We have reached 38. This is the pinnacle of our bonus EXP. So we're up to over 400 hit points on this character. That means we'll be at max health at level 340 on any guild. So that's something to look forward to. Oh cool, another potion of youth. Some more of the good potions of healing. Yeah, these are dropped by those giant ants versus the original ants, so they are much more potent. They're a good benefit to being down there. Those ants are actually not that tough either, so they give you a boon, but they are counteracted pretty heavily by the fact that half those monsters down there start spitting acid on you, so it helps, but it doesn't stop the burn. So you gotta start considering whether you want to get acid resistance going at that point. It's pretty expensive. So we're gonna switch off from Warlock on my elf when we get there, and we're start gonna raising up Sorcerer again just to reduce those costs. So we're gonna add an acid to our lineup as our next priority. So our dwarf's gonna go cleric. This character is gonna go sorcerer. Our giant's going to be jumping into barbarian next and getting up a little bit into that. But we will eventually switch into gear and go for full warrior setup again, and we'll push deeper and raise our item usage levels up higher, and that'll be another step we take along the way. So this character has a potion of youth for explorer. Who else is gonna join it? Does nope. We'll store that for this character. Cool. We'll dip in here and just use our stat boosts just to clear up our inventory as we go. Oh, actually, their stuff is maxed. Okay. I guess that was a waste. Oh well. It's just charisma. Charisma's not that important. Maxed out dexterity on the giants. Another point of that. There we go. We are golden on this. We can sort out our guilds. So first of all, I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm actually at the usage level. It might be 26. We might get one more out of them. Yep, it is. So we're going to get one more round off of this one. But our dwarf can actually benefit from becoming that cleric immediately. And this is going to kick our item level down again for a little bit, but it won't take very long. And we'll shovel things around because we want to get them out of this. They're going to be a second character. There we go. This is going to be our new lineup for a hot minute while we get our early levels in. Now, a lot of the attack spells for a cleric actually overlap with warlocks, so there's that. But another thing to keep in mind is that they get them cheaper than the warlocks, so they'll actually get benefit out of it if we keep with it. And I actually like leveling cleric a lot more than warlock because healing is just more useful overall in a party scenario than the couple of extra movement spells that warlock gives. They also give more resistances, but cleric gets them cheaper overall. But cleric does not get access to specifically the acid and electric ones. So you do need a warlock on neutral characters to get access to that. So we're already almost pinned. Cool beans. So yeah, we're gonna do a couple of quick and dirty little runs, get that early levels done. Oh wait, I didn't actually realize this cleric didn't get this in the original game. I guess we get poison abilities like... Oh, so those were only part of sorcerer before. I guess that makes sense that they would get a different attack type, so... What's good about that is they use elements that the normal attack spells don't. So if something resists magic, you now have an option for those monsters as a cleric. I think that's a very nice choice for them to make, to add that in as an option.
Cool. 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 Cool.
But yeah, it is worth noting that the amount of experience we're getting for our warlock and stuff has actually about the same as getting the experience for a warrior of twice the level. So while we got to 38 on a warlock, that would have been like 70 or 80 on a warrior. So when we actually switch to leveling warrior, we'll be at like 70 or 80 like in no time, just doing the same things we're currently doing. Although we'll probably actually be even faster because we'll be fighting down on 8, 9, 10 area. So, but the amount of experience that we've gotten is equivalent to that on those guilds. So with these other magic guilds, I'm only gonna get them up to like the second main usage case of like 24 or so, and then I'm gonna go in, grab warrior, and like just go ham on it till we're in our 70s or so, or whichever usage level I want to stop on, because we'll get ourselves some better daggers. And daggers are going to be our primary like cookie cutter for leveling up lower level guilds. Because like right now we're using a pretty good 2-handed dagger, but there's some really nice 3- and 4-handed daggers coming up. So if we can level up warrior to the point where we can use some of those. And keep in mind, every class that can join a warrior guild is character that can join a warrior guild is going to actually gain an extra attack per round on that way. So we'll go from doing 2 attacks per character up to like 4, maybe 5. And that means we're going to be killing like 20 enemies around if we're stronger than them. So that will bump us down to working on like floors 13, 14. The real limitation there is our resists. So at that point we're going to have to start considering leveling magic again. Or just dealing with all the extra damage and hoping it's not too much. So you do have to balance your leveling up with raising up your utility as you go, or you just end up in bad situations. Oh. We may have been pinned for a little while. I kind of wasn't focusing on that part. But you know what? We're gonna level up the Oni as well and get that one into the mix. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna join this one, and we will have to blast through the early levels again on this character as well, but you know what? That will take no time as well. Barbarian is another like mid-level EXP class, kind of like Explorer. I think they're pretty similar in the XP that they require. So it'll take about as long as that took to level up. So probably 1 session, 2 sessions, they'll be max to where I want them. And then our giant will be pretty set to just go back to warrior and go ham on that. Oh, good. This will actually get us up to the 18 range that we wanted, although unfortunately we haven't found any intelligence potions for the character, so that is still lagging a little bit behind, but you catch your progress where you can. So, because our XP requirements are so low and we actually picked up that quest item, I am gonna just dip over this way and grab another copy of it for the collection. That Warlocks scroll. We aren't gonna need it for any of these characters, but I like to keep them just backed up for whoever needs them in the future on one character. Because it's a dungeon. You gotta go through it anyway, so you might as well just get it when you're just doing whatever rather than when you need it.
Cool. Bye-bye.
And we're gonna absolutely
Cool.
pin, like, immediately. So, switch that out. Yep, we're pinned already. Swap them to the back. Keep going.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Maybe if we're lucky, our cleric will get enough for that next level up.
Bye-bye.
They really do make this quest item way in the back of this corner pretty effectively.
Cool. Cool.
There we go. That's our scroll of wizardry. And so yep, we're just gonna get out of here and fight somewhere more worthwhile.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Mhm.
Cool. Cool.
Now, a thing to note is that Cleric's actually the one that gets the cheapest casting of Amphibious Breath, and if you don't have a Cleric, you're probably not going to really be casting that spell. And Amphibious Breath is a requirement to explore water areas. Most characters will drown in them inside of a single round of combat, like a single, like, encounter of combat, so if you're going to actually explore it and clear it out, you need to be able to fly, number one, so you can go up and down to surface areas, but also you need to be able to breathe for enough to survive rounds of combat without taking breathing damage. Because you can just heal your way through it, but also this chat gets really spammy and annoying. It's like, your characters are drowning, like every round of combat. I mean, it is fair, you should know that they're drowning, so I don't fully blame the game for that. But like, if you're intentionally doing it, then it can be a bit annoying, that is telling you. let's sort out what we got. There, there. Okay. Put that back in the pile. So it's also worth noting that the cleric is the highest EXP requirements of every guild in the game. It will just take the most, but it's very close to warlock. It just is that next notch higher.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back now that the Oni is pinned. Oh yeah, I got turned around slightly. There we go. We're on our way. Try not to fight everything that wants to fight, but some things I can't actually run past. So, kill them if you have to. Move on if you can't. So I'm actually going to take a second and see what that one heal gets to. So by level 100, the cleric will have cheapened their heal spell to be at its minimum cost. Oh, we went down to floor 9. We were twice as deep as the Goblin King. But yes, we killed the Goblin Lord. Like, a couple times this run, actually. Yeah. By level, I want to say 50 or like 40 or so, this minor heal, will actually be at minimum cost of 2. So we'll be able to heal quite effectively just by getting to like level 30, 40 on this character. So this will be our main healer for a while. But it'll take a bit to get there. So we actually got to the first notch in our usage abilities.
Cool.
Still having fun killing cows? You were excited about that earlier. So at the rate we're going, probably next stream I'll have my Warlock done on this character as well. Oh cool, you get your nice troll items, huh? Now, why don't you like to mouse around? Do you like try to play with like a controller or something? I don't even know if that would work for a while. Oh boy, already nearly leveled with that character. Oh, wow, they've got the same experience? That's kind of unusual. So with all your experience with using that for WoW, I still think it's a little funny that you are so uncomfortable using like keyboard controls otherwise. So that's our two main levelers pinned, so we are returning. Oh boy. Guess I do have to kill them, huh? Okay. I thought I could slip past them, but it doesn't look like that. That's how it wants to work.
Cool.
It's fine. I've actually been avoiding going to the dwarves for a little bit because they are going to absolutely be something I can't clear in a single run until I gain a few more levels. But maybe I'll dip into it next time because I've cleared the way there. So this is a new quest line as well for the Barbarian Guild. I'll read it out for you guys. You have been assigned the required level 6 quest for this guild. As you are about to leave the training area, a huge man, dressed in leather and furs, approaches you. He has paint on his face and a body full of battle scars. He carries a huge battle axe and has a deep, foreboding look in his dark blue eyes. You aren't sure which race he is. I am Moldan, he says in a deep voice. Since you are interested in becoming an advanced member of the Barbarians Guild, I have been assigned to teach and tutor you in our ways. He holds his axe up. However, if you fail me, I will personally cut you in two. He pauses. Your mission is to kill a kobold. Do this, return with proof, and I will give you this iron battle axe. He turns. Now be gone, and walks away. Let's just go grab that real quick. There's actually a lair for them, even though you don't really need to lair kobolds. Oh, I think they're right in this one. Are these not? Oh, I thought it was kobolds. I guess it wasn't. Well, we're going on a little journey. Kobolds are pretty easy to find. They sure don't.
Bye-bye.
It does have some more eccentric mythology components, such it adds in tengus and stuff, but it doesn't go very deep in any of their lores.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
There we go, we got our kobold. So this is going to be an example of why you want to have the ability to walk through walls, because now we don't have to walk all the way around to get back home. And now we've got our first quest for the Cleric's Guild to do as well now. I'll read this one out. You have been assigned the required level 8 quest for this guild. As you leave the training area, you are approached by a young woman with beautiful blue eyes. Hello, I am Maya. I've been assigned to be your mentor to help you with your future as a master cleric. She studies you. Our time spent together will be for you to achieve a better and working knowledge of our guild and what it means to be a member of this guild. It is my duty to make sure you understand exactly where you are heading and whether you or not you can handle it. Your first task will be to kill a floor slime. Use your magic to do so, and when you return, I will reward you. Good luck, apprentice. Now for floor slimes, we have to head up to find these, so this will not take very long either. But we will have to run around to find it. Hello. How are you? Another day of dungeon crawling. For me. How about you? Doing alright. Got about another 20-30 minutes of this stream left, and then I'll see what I do with the rest of the day. I may even stream again later, but I'm gonna take a while off just to settle out, figure out what the day brings. Well, that's good news for the giant. They're going to get a little bit more intelligence, a little closer to casting those higher movement spells. This is the only one that I've been streaming so far. I may add more in as I decide to. I'm considering doing a Dead Space one sometime in the future, week or so, just because I like to play out about once a year, and I really like the atmosphere of it. So I'll probably do a casual playthrough of it again. Seems fairly seasonal, but I don't have any particular plans. I might do some streams of Super Metroid Randomizer. I do enjoy that as well. I do play mod hacks of various retro games as well. As only recently I've started considering actually recording me playing them. So, now that I've gotten a little bit more used to it, I may add more into that cycle.
Cool.
We're absolutely not going to be able to clear this out in one run. My poor little guys are going to pin so fast, but I mean, that's a quality problem.
Cool. Cool.
I guess the way I'll do it is I'll clear out one side of it and save the second one for another run. I wouldn't say daily. I've been streaming like maybe every other day so far, but it depends on what I have going on. This is more of like a hobby to me at this point rather than like something I do daily, but it could change.
Cool.
Well, thank you. I've been enjoying it.
Cool. Cool.
So this is actually a good place to go back to town and sort things out, because everyone can gain a level, and one person can gain two. If I ever say pin and you're not sure what that means you have enough experience to gain 2 levels, which is the most a character can gain before having to go back and turn it in. Oh, cool. I enjoyed Minecraft, but I haven't really, like, seriously played it in quite a while, but that's intentional. I kind of like to let games, like, cool off on me for, like, several years to, like, get new content, new mod packs come out, try something new, have it come in fresh. But Minecraft's one I play somewhat regularly. Like, I actually played a little bit of survival the other day with my nephew. He's a fresh face just exploring the game, but from an almost finished perspective. So it's interesting to see what they think of it versus how it was in development. Yeah, back in the day, the biggest thing I did with Minecraft is I really liked adventure survival like games. Like, I don't know if you're aware of it, but there was a guy who used to make all these incredibly difficult challenge maps. Like, I gotta remember what his name was, but they were all themed. You had to gather a wool monument. You had to basically deal with millions of spawners. Yeah, he'd give you the materials to like build up like a base, but like you had to actually fight your way through of it. Yeah. Like, so that was like at the beginning of Minecraft, like maybe a couple of years into it. I really enjoyed those maps. And while survival's fine, and I did play quite a bit of that, it was a little bare bones in the long term. So I got my fun out of that, but if I was gonna play more, I'd probably look for something that adds a lot more to do to the base game. I think playing vanilla kind of would get a little plain for me at this point. Okay, that's fair. So you like the building aspect? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a doer player than a builder player, but I can respect it. Now, what I find makes a really good pairing is if you get like a friend that's really into building stuff and you're really into going and getting stuff. What you do is you play multiplayer together, and one of you sets up the base and the other one goes and gets supplies. That's usually how I did it with my friends. Yeah, it's really not that hard to find people that are interested in that too. Like, I wouldn't say I would necessarily be the one to do to it. I'm not really that passionate about Minecraft specifically, but if you just go like ask people on like any of the Minecraft main forums, you could probably find someone interested in just like playing multiplayer. Like, there's always just people interested in it. That's a game that's going to probably be in people's mindset for probably the next 20, 30 years. Because it's just so easy to set up and play and make like little communities for. In many ways, people use it as like a get together and hang out game too, so. So we're gonna queue up our spells so that we can kill this guy. This guy's immune to our currently weapons, so we kind of have to use a different way to kill him. I have the battle paused so it won't immediately attack. But as soon as I trigger it, everyone will strike. And there we go. We're all ready to hurt them, because magic will always hurt them. Eventually we'll be able to kill him with weapons, but you have to get considerably better weapons than you can reach at this level to kill him that way. So your way to kill them early on is just hit him with low-level magic until he collapses. It takes a second to set up, but he's a good experience, but that's not the real reason. He unlocks this whole corner of the map to get all these other dwarves that you can fight. This is just an easy way to get a ton of experience without having to run really deep into the dungeon. Yep, and one of them can already level up already. So we are actually going to move him back in the lineup so he gets a little bit more of that EXP pie. Okay. Because he's probably still going to pin out, but the way it works is that everyone in the front will get a chance before he does, so if we kill it before he even attacks, he gets a little less experience. But these guys take several rounds of combat, so everyone gets at least one round of damage in, so everyone's going to level up a little bit from every encounter. On some of the other floors and mobs, like if you kill them in like the first like couple of party members, the other ones in the back don't get that experience. They get the gold, they get some other stuff, but I mean, it's a way of letting your low-level characters catch up to the higher-level ones by moving them to the front of the lineup. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty like long-term game because you're just slowly building up a party to get deeper and deeper in, and every couple levels you get makes your party just a little better at not taking all the damage in the world. So it's a progression game. So yeah, I'd say this is actually like where I think incrementals really started, if I think about it, because like this game has a max level of 999 in every guild, and you can join every guild in the game, assuming that your class and alignment, character race and alignment match it. So humans can join 10 of the 11 guilds. Giants can only join 4, but it's usually in the middle. Like most character races can join like at least 7. But it's very hard to max out even a single guild, so you have to really want it. But you can play this about as much as you want to. Like, you could play this for years and not max out. This is going to take a little bit of spamming, but we are going to heal up a bit. We took a bit of damage on our lead characters. And that's why we have these, so we can heal up if we need them. And yeah, that really only happens to them because these monsters are considerably stronger than the area they're in. They're tanky, they take multiple rounds of combat, they're gonna get hits on you, and especially with those lower level characters that we're leveling up, they just don't have the attack and defense to just trade blows with taking no damage, so the trade-off for leveling quickly is you do take more damage, so it's a fair trade-off. Well, I'm probably not that interested in actual artwork, although I appreciate you sharing. I actually, while I'm an amateur artist, I enjoy making whatever I can for my stuff, so I would rather use my own amateur work over any amount of, like, paid content. So while I appreciate artists like and stuff, I also enjoy making my own stuff. Yeah, you're more than welcome to like tell people about your stuff. You could I don't know if you can make links, but you can like at least give them your links if you want to. I don't mind that, but like I myself I'm not going to actually like go out of my way to like get anything. Because if I show up anything for like artwork, it'll be like the old artwork for this game itself, because the main reason why I'm streaming it is to, one, I want to play it, but also I want to like make it more visible to people, because it's a 25-year-old game. Yeah, you can make links to it. You can tell people about stuff. Yeah, if you like got like a portfolio with like art and stuff to it, you can like link to that. I don't mind that.
Cool. Cool.
But yeah, I'm not really like sure about actually linking my like Discord to my streaming yet. I haven't like decided if I want to go down that route. At this point, this is largely a hobby for me and not really like something I interact with on a fully daily basis. Awesome, we got them pinned, and now it's time to go return. Awesome, that was 7 more levels for the group. Fantastic. Ah, good. Some more intelligence potion level ups. Good, good, good. We'll get more of these. This is a whole lot of charisma. I guess I'll just throw it all on the giant. They are the lowest. It doesn't do them a ton of good, but I mean, a little less hostile enemies, I guess, is not the worst thing either. There we go, we're getting close to that 18 threshold for all of our spells. So we're gonna sort out our inventory and upgrade as we can. And then I'm gonna probably end up calling this a stream, since it's been 3 hours. I might stream later. I'm definitely gonna take a break. I'll at least look at what you linked, but I make no promises that it'll go anywhere. Oh wow, we can't actually wear this with this guild. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I think that means chainmail, maybe? Let us see. Barbarian, yep. Chainmail it is. Huh. Interesting. How about you? We're a couple levels away from upgrading their equipment as well. They actually could upgrade, so we will do that. Oh wait, we can't. Okay, good. I thought we were there. That's right. I got the same problem with the dwarf. I thought the usage level was a little lower than it was. We're gonna take a look at the tavern, see anything new popped up that's worth getting. Nope, nothing in there that we don't already have. Really, the monkeys got it. You insulted monkeys? That's kind of wild. Alrighty. And that's gonna probably do for this stream. Thanks for everyone that joined in and watched. And I will end up seeing you guys later. Thanks again.